Hello, this is Matt on the Moon Lambo channel, and I think that XRP and the Spark token are positioned to make a lot of people a lot of money. And there's just an insane. I hope you guys understand. I'm going to try and illustrate this point in this video, but there's just an insane amount of money flowing into the crypto space, in particular from institutions, so entities with the mega money. And as a result, Bitcoin might rise a good bit higher than what many analysts are expecting it to. So says Raoul Paul, who's saying, even though not necessarily this market cycle, he has said that he thinks that Bitcoin could go anywhere from 400,000 to like 1.2 million in the short term, potentially. And so you got to wonder, like, if that happens, if Bitcoin is more scarce than people realize, and as more retail investors come in on top of that, there's not going to be enough Bitcoin for everyone. Not at these prices anyway. Supply and demand will do its thing. And so if that much Bitcoin is going into deep cold storage, more than what people are expecting thanks to institutional purchases, what's that going to mean for price appreciation for altcoins? And that's interesting. And if you want to know whether or not there's some serious price action happening in the crypto asset class, all you got to do is look and see whether or not Coinbase is up. If Coinbase is up, there's probably not that much going on. If Coinbase is down, you're probably in a bull run. And so you can see here's a headline from CoinDesk. Coinbase back online experiencing connectivity issues. I'll tell you what, Coinbase is more crashy than XRP was after the SEC sued Ripple. Like that's how bad they are. I swear, man. Now, I do want to be clear that I don't have a financial background of any kind. I am not offering financial advice, and you should not buy or sell anything because of anything I say or write. I just think it's fun to talk about these crypto-related topics, and I run this YouTube channel purely as a hobby. That is all that it is. I just want to be transparent about that. But I very much appreciate the support. And as I record this, XRP is at 25.6 cents. Bitcoin has crossed $37,000. It's at $37,053.73 according to like CoinWatch. And you have a market cap of over $1 trillion. Over $1 trillion. That is a pleasure to report. I am so excited for this space. And it's going to be going on for some time. So I've got my XRP bag. I'm diversifying into other coins. It's gonna be a good time. It's definitely gonna be a good time, in my humble opinion. And also, the Spark token now being traded on BitTrue. I've mentioned that recently, and I wanted to highlight something though. So there's this article about it, and right now it's only traded on cryptocurrency exchange BitTrue. And technically, since the token hasn't been released by FLR Network, it's an IOU technically, so it's just a placeholder, and then they'll replace it with the real thing as soon as it's available. But anyway, whatever. It's Spark token. I don't care. People are accepting it as Spark token, and so at its highest point, and mind you, it hasn't been on the market that long. It is just today that it was launched. At its highest point, the XRP FLR pair. I'm sorry, I said that backwards. FLR XRP pair stood at 1.5. That means that so like if it were at 1, that would mean that one FLR token was worth 1 XRP, but it got up to 1.5. And so I don't know exactly what the price of XRP was at that time, but that means for a brief period in time, Spark tokens were worth about 38 cents or so. Right out the gate on the first day. That is insane. And we haven't even hit the bull market yet, and so we get our free tokens. Oh, and I mentioned this in the last video, like if you're feeling bad about your XRP being down in price, consider this. Like, I know obviously Spark token is not XRP, two separate coins, but if you smash the two prices together, like XRP right now, it'd be closer to like, almost 40 cents right now. Because I think, I didn't look before recording, but I think the Spark token is around, I don't know, it's 13 or 14 cents as I record this. And that's free, that's free money. So I know it's going to be volatile, but holy hell, man! Like if you smash it together, it's not looking as bad. So like I don't feel completely horrendous, And it's going to be interesting also to watch for this. There's a tweet that I just happened to come across in my feed from a gentleman named Oscar who wrote, "For only $67.75, you can send $29.89 of $29.89. How? Bitcoin makes it possible. And you can see here's the transaction on the screen. Sending $29.89 worth of Bitcoin, network fee of $67.75. You know, with XRP, it would have been a fraction of a penny. So that's the highest network fee I personally have ever seen. I was aware that it got up to over $50 during the last bull run. And so you got to wonder, if more and more people jump in, are we going to reach a point where network fees are hundreds of dollars? And is that going to impact people's willingness to throw money in? I don't know. I don't know. I brought up the concern. I don't know that it would. I mean, if nothing else has killed Bitcoin this far, maybe not, but it's worth considering. I'm just saying, if it got bad enough, at some point people would cry uncle. But maybe that would just. But then again, even then, maybe it just gets down to a supply and demand thing. And once there are fewer transactions, maybe the people that were opting out will still jump in and participate anyway. And if it is being treated purely as a store value like gold, and for the people that are really thinking long term, perhaps it's the case that it's not going to matter if you have an outrageous fee, but if you're planning on holding it for a decade, maybe you don't care. So I don't know. We'll just see how this unfolds. But that is some wacky stuff to me. All right, into this piece now from the Daily Hodl. UBS wealth manager says large institutional buyers quietly fueling Bitcoin boom. And so keep this in mind. As all of this money is flowing in, what is discussed here is it's increasing. And and there's so little, this is an estimate. There's roughly 1.8 million Bitcoin out of 21 million that can never exist. 1.8 million are estimated to be liquid. And much of that is currently getting snatched up and put into cold storage. Because these institutions, when they purchase it, they're not like retail speculators. They're not just going to buy and sell all willy-nilly. It's going to be off, and then everyone else will be left to fight for the scraps on spot exchanges. And right? You know intuitively what that'll do. We're talking about the just simple supply and demand dynamics. They're going to play out. And that's the reason that if you have a crazy amount of institutions jump in, snatching the existing available Bitcoin up, you could have just some truly wacky high Bitcoin prices potentially. All right, in this piece, though, a private wealth manager at Swiss financial giant UBS is crediting institutions and wealthy investors for Bitcoin's bull run. In a new CNBC interview, Ali McCartney, a managing director at UBS Private Wealth Management, says interest in Bitcoin from wealthy and sophisticated investors is booming. Here's a quote. There's a lot of interest, and there's been a lot of interest for a significant amount of time. A lot of very wealthy individuals, even those who have made their money in very traditional finance sources, take risk. And they understand the concept of taking risk. I think the thing is that individuals that act like institutions and non-retail individuals are getting in now as an asset allocation play. And that I think why you see such a run-up is that you're having some really big buys. Now, McCartney cites increasing corporate adoption, the store of value narrative, and price as factors fueling interest in Bitcoin. And here's another quote. The story of the first couple of years was that there was a store of value that was apolitical and could be a diversifier. And then you fast forward, and to my colleague's point, you see the number going up, which always gets people interested. You see the adoption in the form of Bloomberg Galaxy Index. Then you go to Fidelity being a custodian, and now you are at PayPal letting you buy and sell with it. Yeah, exactly. Mainstream adoption. Because now PayPal, I think that they have somewhere in the neighborhood of like 300 million users or something like that. It's just insane. Obviously, they're gigantic. And then they're all exposed to the crypto asset class as a result. And PayPal had been purchasing more Bitcoin than was being mined, and that was just one entity. So it's insane what is happening here. And I'm not complaining. I love it. I absolutely love it. I was here first, so I'm happy with it. Anyway, McCartney says the new fleet of institutional investors could create a solid foundation for the price of Bitcoin moving forward. And here's a quote. So adoption is going up, price is going up, and the lack of available alternatives in the market in terms of being diversifiers like bonds have largely gone out the window because of their relative risk return. So I think all three of those, and once you see the credentialing mechanisms of large pension funds and sovereign entities, which have just seen major buying, which I think is what has taken this from $25,000 up to where it was this weekend, you start to really get some credentialing mechanisms. And by the way, unlike a retail investor, the assumption there is that these aren't speculators. These are long-term buy-and holds that can create some sort of substantial floor for the currency. Exactly. And that's what I've been talking about on this channel for so long. And so if we see a huge run-up for Bitcoin, especially if it's outside the scope of what many were expecting, well, the alts will just keep running with it. And I personally believe that despite the scary SEC news, that XRP ultimately will move in line with the market, because I'll tell you what, it's if Bitcoin keeps going up, and you can think about the disparity on like an XRP BTC pair, if that keeps getting greater and greater and greater, at some point it's just going to look like an incredible buy relative to anything else. And so I think that, the price matters more than news, as I've been citing in my recent videos. I do believe that. That's how humans are behaving. Whether or not it makes sense, I don't think it's rational. But I'm just observing it to be the case. So for that, and Spark token on its first day getting up to almost 40 cents, pure insanity. Pure insanity. I mean, really, and I think it's probably fair to say the Spark token airdrop is the most widely accepted and important airdrop in the history of the cryptocurrency asset class. I don't think it's too far to go to say that. I mean, you're talking about, I don't know what the total number is, but like at launch, 80 partner exchanges accepting it for custody. And look, we don't know how many are going to be willing to trade it, but probably most, if not all of them, because if you went to the trouble to set up a wallet for all of this, wouldn't you also want to make money on the buying and selling of it now that there's liquidity for it on your platform? Well, I would think so, and we'll see what happens. But yeah, so it's good. It's already worth something. It's worth something today, and it's only gonna go up, and it's just like free money. Can you imagine if it ends up being closer to like a 1-to-1, the FLR XRP pair? What if it is like they're worth about the same, and then you effectively, whatever your XRP is worth, you effectively like just doubled that like for free? Look, I don't know if it's going to go like that, but even if it's worth a bit less than a single XRP, I'm still appreciative of the opportunity. Like crypto is such a weird place to be, but it's fantastic. But I will wrap up there. I am not a financial advisor. Do not buy or sell anything because of anything that I say or write. That would be a very, very, very bad idea. Until next time, to the moon, Lambo.